one moment that really sticks with me that's relevant to tonight is I remember very clearly when I was a little girl in the early 90s, and I saw television coverage of Brazil's rainforests burning to make room to raise more cattle. And I remember thinking so clearly as an 8-year-old or 9-year-old, thinking, that can't go on, right? That can't go on. Surely that's not sustainable. And I wouldn't have used that word at the time, but intuitively I knew it was wrong. And then I kind of forgot about it. I think for 30 years I thought it was so obvious that that was not okay, and that the various other things that we were doing to the planet were not okay. And I just assumed it was so obvious someone else was doing something about it. And then I got a little bit older and a little bit wiser, and I realized, no, we're not. Perhaps I'd better. And so I'm really, really glad to be here tonight. I'm really glad to be able to engage in this dialogue, because I think it is really difficult to talk about climate change, and it has been really difficult. One of the things I wondered is why, when it was so obvious to me, why aren't we doing something about it? And it is really difficult, and I think it's difficult for a few reasons that we have to acknowledge. One is that it's mostly not happening here. The worst effects, the earliest effects, most of the extreme events are happening elsewhere to people far away we don't relate to. Increasingly, of course, it is happening in our backyard, in our lungs, in our businesses. It seems like it's far off, and for a long time it was, but it's not anymore. We have less than a decade until we've used up the carbon budget that reasonably safely might keep us below 1.5 degrees C of warming for the world, and I'm sure we'll come back to what that means a little bit more later. It is uncertain. There's a lot that's certain, and there's a lot that's been proven, but there are uncertainties, and that makes it difficult to pin down exactly what we can do. But I guess as I really got into it, and as I realized perhaps I'd better try to do something about it, I discovered something really quite wonderful, and I think that's probably something that we might talk about quite a bit tonight, which is that it no longer needs to be difficult. A tipping point has been reached wherein mitigation of climate change is advantageous on almost every front.